In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at all of the secret graves in the Grand Theft Auto series, ranging from GTA 5 to Vice City and a whole lot more. We've actually got 9 of them on our list today, and we're going to be discussing sort of their backstory, what they could mean, and a little bit more. So let's jump into it today at the number 1 spot. This one might be a fairly obvious one, but it's actually Brad's grave in North Yankton. So this grave is probably the most significant part of North Yankton. In fact, it really spawns the entire plot of GTA 5. We obviously know that Brad was put in there instead of Michael Townley at the time because Brad was shot instead of Michael Townley. Michael was wearing a bulletproof vest because he was in on the whole plan. Brad was not. So they had to put Brad in there. Trevor thought Brad was in jail. It's a crazy cycle. And obviously we know Trevor goes to dig up the grave. It's actually the only grave in the entire game where someone actually digs up a body. In this case, it's Brad's, which of course is pretty interesting. That mission, Bury the Hatchet, was probably one of my favorite. And I wish Rockstar had done more with this. Like, done more with the aspect of North Yankton and, digging up the grave and stuff like that. I feel like that would have been really cool. I also sort of feel like it was sort of a lost opportunity to enhance the story of GTA 5 as well. Grave number 2, I'm not sure what to call, so I'm going to call the Mount Gordo grave. You might know it as the grave on top of the mountain. Now, this is one of the more mysterious ones we're going to be looking at today because no one knows who's in this grave. It's very simple. It's almost just sort of like a mound of dirt with a very simple crucifix on top of it. Now, its location is very interesting too. It's on top of Mount Gordo, which means it's near the ghost of Jolene Cranley. It's also near the lighthouse and the cottage near the lighthouse. Now, a lot of people have speculated that this is Ursula's grave. Now, Ursula is a stranger and freak that you can run across, and she is crazy. Like, she has crazy stories of, people attacking her and her having to, fight back, and how one time she went too far and she actually killed someone. So could that be one of her parents? Could that be someone she knows that she panicked and buried at the top of the mountain? If you guys have ever run across Ursula in game, you'll almost know what I'm talking about here. It's pretty creepy, her interactions, especially with Trevor. And so I think it's someone related to her, which would definitely lead to an interesting story. Maybe this is just one of those mysteries that Rockstar wants us to sort of find out on our own, or maybe we can have our own ending. But either way, the grave on top of the mountain of Mount Gordo is certainly very strange. By far the saddest instance we are going to look at today actually comes on the Hill Valley Cemetery. So if you go to the Hill Valley Cemetery on the PC version or the next generation, you'll see this tiny little dog walking through the cemetery. And this dog will actually lead you to a grave. Now, we don't know what the grave is, but the grave has flowers upon it. So only one can assume that this is the dog's owner. And the dog is incredibly sad and goes back to that grave on a daily basis to check in on that owner. I mean, that has to be the saddest thing added in GTA 5, one of the most saddest things added. I mean, for Rockstar to go to that level of detail and to do something that cool, maybe that was referencing something out of pop culture. I'm not sure if it's from a TV show or a movie or anything like that, but either way, that just hits you right in the feels right there. And even though we don't know who the owner is because it is an unmarked grave, we can probably assume they were a really good person. They probably treated their pet super well because of the relationship that they ultimately have here. Up next, we're moving on to Vice City. This next grave can be found in Funeraria Romero, which is also known as the Dead Center, and it is a funeral parlor in GTA Vice City. Now, the reason there's a grave here is because you can actually look inside of the shop. So they have caskets on sale. They also have a parody of a Dracula photo, as you can see on the far right. Now, what's interesting here is you see that name, Steven, I think it's Moyand or something like that. Sorry for pronouncing that wrong. And it has RIP. And then on the Stonehenge to the next of it, it has RIP with the Rockstar logo. He was actually a Rockstar employee. And when making Vice City, he actually passed away. So Rockstar sort of commemorated him in the game forever, which is really, really cool. And it's also interesting that it happens to be in a place that makes sense, in a place that looks like they sell coffins or something like that. So that's pretty interesting right there. And in connection to that, there is also a butcher shop that is sort of its own cemetery as well. And it's actually owned by the same family. It's called Carcinero Romero. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's literally located right across the street. And this one's kind of creepy because in the front of the business, you can actually see human organs on display. Like you can also see a brain. You can also see a human hand as well. And if we actually go to the back of this shopping center, you can see that there is a graveyard as well. Now, 3 of the graves have been covered up, but 1 has not. And you can see a skeleton missing his arm. That's because his arm is on display in the front. So I don't know what's going on at the Romero family business, but it certainly looks as if there's some creepy stuff going on there with skeletons and, people's bodies and stuff like that. But those are some secret graves you probably did not know of in Vice City. Let's move on to GTA San Andreas. Out in Bone County, you can actually find 6 black body bags that are just sort of located in a ditch. And it looks like someone just dumped them out of the back of a pickup truck. Now, what's crazy is that Rockstar has actually confirmed why these bodies are there. They're there because Rockstar was trying to sort of recreate the mafia life that would have been in a place like this. So they were trying to paint a picture of like the mafia just dumped these people, and that's why they're covered in black garbage bags or black body bags, supposedly. So even though that's technically not like a grave, and it's not in a graveyard, we do actually see 6 mysterious people dead there. And we don't know who they are, what their connection is, but Rockstar have confirmed why they are there, which is sort of interesting. Going back to GTA 5, this one is sort of interesting. It is a glitched grave. Now, this one has actually been patched. It was only available to see on the Xbox 360 and PS3 versions of the game. It was kind of near the Zancudo Swamp, and it was this grave that was like sticking out of the side of like this mountain or like this rock. It was super strange. I don't know why it was there. I don't know, if it was supposed to be there, like underground or underneath. Rockstar has, of course, since fixed that on the modern day versions of the game. But if you go there on Xbox 360 and PS3, you can still see it. It's this weird grave that's like sticking out of the side of the mountain. Again, I'm not really too sure why that was there, or if Rockstar was trying to do something with that, or if it was just a big glitch. After that, another untraditional grave, that is the mine shaft. So the mine shaft was opened up with the PS4 and Xbox One version of the game. And inside, you will find one of the associates of Solomon Richards from like the 1950s. This dude has been in here for like 50 years. You can see his clothing. He's got like an old school film reel. So this is technically the grave of one of Solomon Richards' associates. It's also directly connected to the murder mystery, which of course is very, very interesting. So you might not have known that. I'm sure you have by now because it's been around forever, but that of course is another atypical grave site in GTA 5. Another atypical grave site is where you find all the bodies for the Infinite 8 murders. So if you did not follow the story of the Infinite 8 murders, basically it was this guy who would capture runners, and he would like tie their bodies off and drop them off in the ocean. And we actually find all of them scattered around the Palito Bay Islands. They're all wrapped up in like plastic wraps, like, they just met Dexter, and they're all just sunk at the bottom of the ocean. So again, even though like the waters of Palito Bay, not technically like a grave per se, but that is where we see a ton of bodies that it can actually be found. So that's pretty interesting stuff right there. And the final grave today at the number 10 spot, probably the most atypical of them all, also takes us back to North Yankton. It's not Brad, and it's not in that cemetery. It's the alien underneath the ice. This guy clearly is trapped and is dead. So this frozen lake or frozen river or stream or whatever the case is, this became this dude's grave, and he is stuck there forever. That's another thing I wish Rockstar had done a little bit more of in GTA 5, sort of dove into the story of the aliens, like why are they here? What do they have to do with sort of the Chiliad mystery? But they never really sort of dove into that. They almost just kind of left it open-ended for us to figure out, or maybe there is no ending. So that would have been cool if they had built it off of that. And it would have been nice if they had done something with the alien in the ice grave over here. But anyways, that right there is all of the secret graves with very interesting mysteries attached to them in the GTA series. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. Which of these graves that we looked at today do you think are the most mysterious? Let me know your thoughts, opinions, and more in the comments down below. If you did go on to enjoy this video though, a like rating would of course be awesome. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. Without the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.